If you have type 2 diabetes and you're tired of being told it's chronic and something you'll just have to manage forever, if your A1C is controlled but your medication list keeps growing or stays the same, and you know deep down you're capable of more than this, you're in the right place. This is the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. We're Brian Bisher and Cory, two pharmacists who spent over 2 decades inside healthcare. And we started this show because we got tired of watching capable people stuck getting managed instead of rebuilt. Here's what most people aren't told. Type 2 diabetes isn't just a blood sugar problem, it's a muscle and energy storage problem. When your body loses strength and metabolic flexibility, blood sugar rises, and you can rebuild that. On this show, we break the scripts that say more meds are inevitable, you're destined to just manage, remission isn't possible, and instead we teach you how to build muscle, eat in a way that keeps you full, and regain control of your health again. No extremes, no shame, just practical strategies to help you move toward remission and lead your health again. Let's get to work.
Welcome back to another edition of the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. This is Cory. I'm with Brian, and we have a special guest today. We have a podcast collaboration. Jay from the Grill Coach podcast is here, and he's got quite a story to tell. And so we want to just get into it. Jay, why are you the Grill Coach on the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast?
Absolutely. I know, That doesn't even seem like it goes together, right? But no, this is a great opportunity here. And especially from my listeners on the Grill Coach, because I did start the Grill Coach podcast 6 years earlier. And, there was a time I was invincible. So I could eat and drink and have all the things that I wanted. But then of November 2025, I was gifted with type 2 diabetes. And I had quite the journey. And receiving that bad news, I was in a dark place. But it was so funny because I felt like I need to figure out something. I need to, not just do what the doctors gave me. What do you guys call it? The 7-minute. I don't know.
The 7-minute special. Yeah. The average 7-minute primary care appointment. You have diabetes. It's bad. Here's your medicines. We'll see you in 3 months. Good luck. By the way, exercise and eat better. Less. Yeah.
150 minutes a week, right? Like that's the thing. Yeah. Dude, and a bag of medicines, right? It was like this, then take this and take this. I mean, granted though, I was in bad shape. I was feeling bad. I knew something was wrong. And I'm just going to be honest. I didn't want to know. I didn't. So even as I was starting to go bad, I was like, I'll just drink some more water and I'll be all right. Whatever, right? I'll get a good night's sleep for once. But it was so much more serious than that. And I would say all the medications they gave me, because it was like, we're going to give you metformin, we're going to give you this for cholesterol, we're going to give you this for blood pressure, we're going to give you this. And just in case, it was just like, we're going to give you this stuff and we'll start that and then we'll see what happens. And that's when it like really was, what can I do? And I know already as a podcaster, there are so many niche podcasts out there like us, like the Grill Coach. And it just so happens I found y'all and I was like, man, this is crazy, because I feel like we're kindred spirits. You guys are really putting something together, using your own experience, helping, making lives better. And I'm like, that's what we do on the Grill Coach podcast. I mean, we don't get to make it so cool like you guys. I mean, but, we do get to make great steaks and stuff.
I don't know. I sent you a picture of the pulled pork I made this weekend, and you were very complimentary of that. So, yeah, Jay, I think I'm gonna jump in here and say I think your story is pretty common in that type 2 diabetes is something that you don't feel it until you feel it. It's sort of the silent creep. And you mentioned you didn't really want to know it, right?
Absolutely. I knew that I needed to be in better shape, right? I was an athlete in high school and I had the ego to go with it, but it's been 30 years since I've been in high school. So it's like, but I always felt like, you know what, I could just do a couple jogging. I mix some stuff in and I'll get right back on the horse. Right. But I didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah. What was it that finally got you actually paying attention to your blood sugar in the first place? You kind of like let it go. You were talking to us before we got on here about some pre-diabetes discussions before. Like, what was the thing that made you, I gotta make a change here?
I have to be honest with you. I was peeing like every 22 minutes for weeks straight. Like it was just, it didn't matter. And I could never drink enough to quench my thirst. No matter what I drank, and it was like, yeah, just give me more, and I couldn't sleep. I didn't get into all kinds of sleep, and my wife really got mad at me because I finally made the appointment to go see the doctor because she knows something's up, right? I'm not even sleeping through the night. I'm up every 22 minutes, and so I go to the doctor finally. Again, I don't want to be there. And I get there and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, your doctor is out today, but you could see the PA." And I said, "Nope, I'm not going to do it. I'll see you next week." "When is he going to be in? Next week?" "Okay, I'll be in next week." And my wife was like, "Come on." I was like, "Nope, just get back in the car. I'm not going to do it." And I suffered for another week just because of my pride. It was, yeah, it was dumb, man. You think you get to my age? I'm 50 now. You think you make smarter decisions, but I don't know, man. That was tough.
Yeah, as the father of two boys, I will probably say that is unfortunately going to be the case for their whole lives as someone who's almost 40 and also makes many choices that my dad would say, "What are you doing?" So, so yeah, it seems like, yeah, it's one of those things that it's once you get to the point where you're up all night peeing, it's hard to ignore. And so, and I mean, you even pushed it back another week because it's kind of, was it safe to say it's like scary to face?
Absolutely, man. I mean, again. I didn't even think it was diabetes, to be honest with you. I thought it was something else, right? And again, when you start letting your mind wander, and when you don't really know what's going on with you, it's worse than you think, right? So it's like, I mean, so when I go in there and it's just like I don't want to even face it. Like sometimes I hear that you guys would say, like when it comes to lifting weights or whatever, the hard part is just going to the gym or opening the front door or sometimes some of those barriers. And this was, I didn't want the information.
Mm, gotcha.
Hmm.
So as we record this, it's May of 2026. So we're talking 6 months ago. You go in November of 2025, you get the bag of medicines, the cholesterol medicine, the everyone's least favorite one, the metformin, and then you find our little podcast. And I'm kind of curious, like if you could name just one thing from our podcast that changed how you think about your diabetes or your health, what was it?
So I felt like you guys were kind of shocking in a way because I didn't really see a lot of information saying that you can reverse diabetes, that you can beat it. I
Hmm.
really didn't see that. I didn't see like things where it's about taking agency. I always saw stuff about more about I feel like just these complicated diets and just weird stuff, I guess you could say. But nothing seemed, that seemed so normal. And then it was also like it was like just accepting that I have to do this. But your guys' attitude that you don't have to accept this, I mean, I was like, wow, wait a minute, tell me more. And then
Hmm.
especially when you say like living with diabetes and being on medicine is hard. But what is also hard is, getting up and going to go work out for 15 minutes a day or leaving the sugar out of my coffee. Stop eating the rice. And it's like that's hard, but what hard do I want to choose, right? I think one of you guys said is like, yeah, just give me the cookies and I'll just keep taking the medicine. And I thought, what is the medicines going to do to me now? If I feel like this now, I really wasn't confident that the medicines were going to make me feel better.
Yeah, I think shows a lot of ownership on your part, which is, I mean, admirable. That's a trait that serves anyone we've taken care of in our career, Brian. I'm sure
Yeah.
we see both sides of the coin of, and when I mentioned the cookies and in the medicine, I'm probably mentioning one of my family members or several of them. Of course, hey, it's the powder butt syndrome. We took care of you. We don't want to listen to what you have to say, despite your years of experience and degrees. That's fine. Don't take offense. And then they don't listen to this podcast anyway, so it's all right.
Oh,
But
okay. I know the feeling.
yeah, so
I'll say this, Jay. I really, like we said, in terms of, it sounded like you were really going through some pain and struggling there. Like when you're peeing every 22 minutes, you must have been timing it to have that much accuracy. Uh, Definitely sounds like your wife might have put you over the edge of that. That was it right there. But whatever you said, it always comes down to that, that significant other, be like, okay, you got to go, you got to do this. But like you said, choosing your hard, what we talk about repeatedly, and I got a comment today, an email, basically like saying, well, you guys, I downloaded like a lot of your episodes and It got kind of repetitive after a while, and that's the point. Like we keep this simple. Like if you think this is repetitive stuff, it's because it doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be complicated. Like Corey says at the end of every episode, keep it simple and do what works. I guess that's become like the motto of
Love
our
that
show.
line. I love that line, by the way. Yeah.
So keep it simple and do what works. So if it feels repetitive after a while, it's because it's not complicated. That's like part of the three-step process. So yeah, like, but we also talk about this too in terms of the pain of your situation has to start outweighing the pain of change. So for you, like that kind of tipped at some point where you're like, okay, I can gradually start to see that the pain of my current situation, the change I have to make, I know that it's there. That's sort of the tip for you at some point.
I would say it maybe took a little bit longer than I thought, because I received the bad news, right? And as a matter of fact, I keep it written on my desk right here. That day I went in, my glucose read at 383 and my A1C was 12.6. And so I feel like I don't ever want to forget that, because that's the day my life changed. But before that, I was in a really dark place. I was in the place where I'm a widow, and I happened to marry another widow just 2 months earlier than that diagnosis. So I'm getting the chance to start life again with a new partner and a blended family, and life is amazing and life is great. And then so it was like, but now I got this health challenge, and it was, now of course my mind goes to all the wrong places. As a widow, it's only real, like, it's we got the good dose of reality that life is really short. We really need to cherish everything we got out of this. Um, I also felt like I was the only one going through this. I also felt like, man, nobody talks about this on a regular basis. And then one of my close friends told me, "Oh yeah, I was diagnosed years ago. Oh yeah, I've been on the metformin and I'm on insulin, and yeah, I just deal with it." But he did say, and this was a guy who never said a lot. He said, "Don't do like I did, because I didn't take it seriously when I first got the diagnosis." And it was one of those moments, and it was just I would say it was a number of things coming together, but it was like hearing your guys' podcast, hearing him say, "Don't do what I did and take this seriously right away." And then, so it was like, wait a minute, I think I got some fight in this. And it was like, talk to the doctors. They say, yeah, take all of this stuff for a month and then we'll evaluate. So I was like, well, what can I do? I got to clean up. Like, and it's just a matter of, I almost felt it like, man, what a gift. Like, because I don't know if this is true, but I feel like my sugar and where I was, that was stroke level, right? And then if I catch a stroke, there's no coming back from that. But it was like I got a big warning sign, and I'm like, hey, you get a chance to do something about it. And I'm like, man, what a gift! I get to fix this now. And then it's like my man's telling me not to do so hard, and then you guys there was another post-it note I had at my desk, and it was like 5 things you said, like get curious, take agency over yourself. I don't know. It was 5 things, and I was really like, I was married to that for a minute, because I needed that encouragement daily, just to like, I'm going to learn about this. I'm not just going to go. They gave me the whole diabetes cookbook and this and that or whatever. I don't know. It was just, and when you guys were calling out the 150 minutes a week, they said that exact same stuff. And I was so scared, right? But it was like, but then I saw it, man, like what an opportunity I got here.
Yeah. Well, I think to see this as a gift, because there are so many people whose first sign of type 2 diabetes is a stroke, a heart attack, a dangerous blood pressure issue. Their kidneys have shut down, an infection on their body that won't heal. So, but not everyone takes the agency that you did. And in the middle of the holidays, oh my gosh. So, like, I mean, I'm getting chills just hearing this. We've talked numerous times about this. I get chills every time, and I hate to get too nuts and bolts on it, but people are going to want to know. So you get this, your A1C is 12.5%, your sugar's 380, you're peeing every 22 minutes. You hear the standard advice. You're like, I don't like this. You hear what we're saying. And you're the co-host of the Girl Coach podcast. So your livelihood revolves around eating and food. So tell us, tell the listeners, what are 2 or 3 things that you changed that you feel like have been sustainable for the last 6 months that have made a big difference for you?
All right, I have to apologize because I definitely got more than one or two things.
Then you
Uh,
spill it. You, let the world know.
let's talk about one of my favorite movies for a second. It was called Fallen. It was with Denzel Washington, and he was being haunted by an angel called Azazel. And and there was a part in the movie, and when he discovered that this was a fallen angel that was actually haunting him, he said there comes a time in everybody's life when after this point life will never be the same again. And mind you, I've been through my kids born, marriage, and even the death of a spouse. And then it was like, I felt like this is another one of those times. Life ain't never going to be the same again. And and I'm great. And I had to take the I had to take the posture of gratitude because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it. And it's like, I had to see this as like, this is something that I really get to wake up to. You guys is putting this stuff down and really kind of making it simple, something I could do. Cause I'm like, I told my wife, I'm not doing these crazy diets. I'm not doing all of that stuff, but I will drink black coffee where I used to be grossed out, for that. I will give up rice, even though I love that rice, baby. I love it. Right. But it's like Cool Ranch Doritos, man. I mean, it's just, chips galore, all of that stuff. But you know what? I want to feel good. I felt so bad that this had to change. And then it was, I would say when I was in it, I know it felt like a long time, but it wasn't very long when I got the glucose monitor, which I love that thing. When I came from a place where I didn't want information, now that glucose monitor, I was looking at everything. Let me do 5 push-ups. Let me see what it does to my sugar, right? Let me eat this. Let me see what it does. One time, it was a birthday celebration or something like that. And my mom, she makes all kinds of homemade goods, and she had some carrot cake. I was like, I had my protein already because my guys tell me, eat your protein first and then wrap up those things, and you can have the cake here. So I had half a cake, and then my sugar shot up so high on that thing. I stopped what I was doing, and, man, I walked down the street for 20 minutes. I was like, oh, man, my sugars never went so high. I was so freaked out, and so I just walked like crazy. Like a crackhead. That's kind of, I was like, crackhead walking. I had to tell my wife, like, I can't go and stroll. No. I got to walk like a crackhead. Like, I got to be
you got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
To bring your sugars down. So,
and so like those type of steps, it was like getting the information, really paying attention to what I'm eating. That's the same reason why I mentioned black coffee, because I'm still kind of hurt by it that I can't have my hazelnut creamer because I loved it. But
there is some, Jay. Do I need to send you the link here? There's plenty of options.
I'm out. No, I'm out.
He's drinking black coffee, Brian. Don't mess this up.
Because I don't want to do the fake stuff either. And that's the other thing that gets on my nerves. All of these substitutes and this, like, all of that is like, that's a substitute for not being disciplined. Like, no, I'm going to be disciplined, right? Like, no. And when I'm going to enjoy something like peanut M&Ms, I'm going to enjoy it just as nasty as they are. But it's like, I'm going to like manage it, right? Because you said, Brian, you said I could do that from time to time. Like, so I was like, okay, he said it. I checked my sugar. All right. It kind of works. So, it's just, I've just been diligent about what I've been doing, how I've been moving, and what I've been consuming.
Right on. Brian,
yeah.
What do you
I must have said something about, I don't think it's specific about M&Ms, but I must have said, well, so I like, we talk about this, Jay. It's a choice. You must be intentional. So there's a difference between just having those M&Ms like randomly, like mindlessly versus like, hey, I've been consciously eating whole foods this week, and you know what? I think I'm gonna have some M&Ms here and just treat myself. So yeah, it comes down to the choice, intention behind it. Stress eating M&Ms, I don't think I can get behind that, but like joy eating M&Ms, yeah, I'm behind that.
Okay, so let me share you what I did too early on. Okay, I would buy the small pack, not that king size pack. I would buy the small pack, and I used to put aside 5 M&Ms, and then I would tape the pack together. So I would have to unravel the tape to get back at it. I would get like 5 M&Ms, and I know this doesn't sound pleasurable, but I would suck the chocolate off of those nuts. and so it's like, I'm like, it's only a little bit of chocolate, and then there's protein in there. So it can't be all of that bad. So I convinced myself. I had it like that. I had it slowly, and I was intentional about it. I'm going to enjoy 5 M&Ms, and then I'm going to put the rest of it away. and it's like, and then I'm gonna go take a walk or whatever. And it was like I monitored my sugar the whole time. I monitored where I'm at because the one thing I didn't want to do was get off the wagon, right? I don't want to throw everything away that I've done for some M&Ms.
Yeah, what I'm hearing
Yeah.
is intentionality, and then I'm going to beat you to it, Brian. Friction, adding friction.
Ah, dang it.
Friction.
Yeah.
Ah.
That's a
friction.
real good example, Jay, of like, thank you for sharing that, of just practical, what does it look like in real life when there's a treat, something you enjoy, to add friction so that you don't overdo it. Because if you try to just willpower through a bag of M&Ms, but it's not sitting there, you haven't taped it up before you had the first one, like you're pouring them out, you're having more than five at a time, like just in one like mouth throw, right? So that's a real good practical example of that.
Right on. So we sit here in May of 2026, Jay, and how are you doing? Like you had your shock moment in November. You've made some changes. You listened to us, but you've done the work. You've taped up the M&Ms. What do things look like as of today? Quick pause for a second, because if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, but how does this actually apply to me? We want you to know you don't have to figure that out alone. If you're on diabetes medications, your A1C is high, or even if it's in range, and you still don't feel good about where things are headed, we offer a free diabetes medication exit strategy call. We'll help you understand what's driving your blood sugar, what's realistic for reducing or stopping medications, and whether a real exit strategy makes sense for you. You can book it anytime. Link in the show notes. All right, let's get back to it.
So May 20th, that was last Wednesday, I got the response back. My A1C is 5.7.
Congratulations. That is outstanding.
I'm almost shivering thinking about this. I looked at the words multiple times just to say, or like, did they keep changing this test or whatever? Because it kept saying, I just refreshing, and it was almost like I felt like I'm going to get there because one, I was improving. My physical stature was improving. My eyesight was improving. It just the way on those crackhead walks, like I was taking them faster. I was feeling better after them. They weren't so taxing on me. I was lifting weights and I just lift frequently. I would pick 3 exercises in between where I work at my office and when I work at home. I have a gym, and I would just do 3 things. It would take about 12 minutes. I mean, it was like I would try to get 7 reps in. This is all because of you guys. I'm just repeating. Somebody's listening like, oh, we know all of this stuff already. I'm just telling you how I did it, okay? So, but I would pick 3 pieces, and I would try to do the big movements, right? Shoulders, the legs. I would try to pick the big muscles because you guys say the sugar stores in the muscles. And so I'm trying to pick that. And I notice over time I'm lifting more and heavier weights. And so it's like, I know I'm improving. I know I'm doing better. And even when I went in for this 3-month checkup, it was like the first time I was not nervous about my blood pressure getting checked. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it felt so good. Like, it's like, all right, I know I'm doing well. I'm sure there's going to be more stuff coming in life or whatever, because I'm still going to age, hopefully. But at least I can control this, so I was good with it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations on that. And you're doing
awesome.
all of the things that we talk about. Now, you are the co-host of the Grill Coach podcast. Now, this has been 6 months, a 6-month journey, incredible A1C improvement. You obviously have not been able to get out and enjoy grilling as you did before because you're in such a restrictive, terrible diet, right?
Yeah, I love the way you set that up so I could just like put that on the tee. I can knock it out. Yeah, absolutely not. And I think that's one of the things that I liked hearing about you guys at first. It was like good protein and fiber. And it was, for me, like, of course, I like the rice and I like the noodles and all that stuff. But it was like, grilling stuff, making fresh food. And I think, there's a couple episodes you guys really focus on just eat real food, right? Like, you don't have to have all kinds of stuff. Just have something real. You guys, one of you said the journey of a potato and how it becomes a potato chip, like, right? And you eat the natural potato as opposed to all the processed parts of it or whatever. And I think that was so insightful because it's like, yeah, I'll try that. Yeah, I'll have this as long as it's sort of in its best form, I guess, most natural form. But also, I really stayed away from the fruits or just anything sugary sweet. I left it alone because, and probably one of the parts I left out is getting that information back from the glucose monitor. Mm-hmm. I started experiencing my sugar was going too low. And I was like, what is going on? And then so just like your guys said, take agency. And I'm like, I'm taking metformin to get my sugar down, but it's like my sugar is low. My sugar actually never really spiked up that high. And even one of the things I was quenching my thirst with was Sprite right before I think I went in. So, that probably didn't help any things, but,
Right, they're not.
uh,
Yeah.
but,
That's all right.
but when I got off of that and then I'm like, man, my sugar's going so low. So I started like changing my medicine. I would even call them to say, hey, look, this is my average of what my sugar's been the last 3 days. I'm going to cut this metformin in half. Well, I don't know. We should talk to the doctor. Well, like, tell me why, and then so I kind of weaned myself off of metformin and tried to say, doctor, let me do this and check me in a month and let's see where we're at, and see what you think. And so it was amazing.
Good news is people don't have to do that because we do have like the medication freedom self-advocacy cheat sheet, and you can just grab that if you email us. You don't have to be like Jay and titrate yourself off medication. We have the exact wording you can use to have that conversation with your doctor, because it's about, what do you call it, Cory? Collaborative conversations, right?
Yeah, well, you're working as a team member with your provider. Although Jay's method for us right now is highly entertaining. We won't endorse nor tell you it's terrible, but we will say we offer the cheat sheet, as Brian said. So, Jay, as we start to wrap things up, like I'm getting chills just talking to you, and there's someone out there who feels overwhelmed or thinks they're stuck. And you have lived this journey over 6 months. You've cut your A1C over half. You're feeling better. You're feeling stronger. You're still doing and eating things that you love. What would you say to this person that's feeling overwhelmed or stuck right now?
I think that one of the things that you guys had mentioned, that this is a deadly disease, and this is a degenerative disease where it gets worse every day, right? And it's not going to get better. But the thing that you said that really stuck with me is that it took years for me to get to this point. And so it's going to take years for me to get off of it and stay off of it. And so like I just keep thinking that consistency is where it's at. Just that gratitude that this is a new life for me. This is a second chance, because I didn't have the heart attack or stroke. Even if I might have or whatever, it's still, if we're still here, we still have our effort that we can control and how we want to be whatever we're trying to get to. And it's kind of like, I never thought that I would feel as good as I do, because even I got glasses, I want to say a couple years ago. Well, now they're too strong. So a lot of times I'm like, I can't even wear them. And I couldn't believe that my vision could still improve even after so long, because I'm in my 50s already. But it just shows me that's how much that sugar had a hold on me. And I think you guys are right on point with, society is not educated enough about how much sugar does and how much it impacts society in a negative way. And, all about before fat was bad and things like that. But I just said I can feel it now. And it's like, and I have to be, again, more honest with you. Like it's not easy, even still now, every day to do what I need to do. But it's like, I think, how can I just make this a non-negotiable? And it's like, and I will tell people around the office, hey, I'm between 2 and 3 o'clock, I'm going to be on a walk. I don't care what we're doing. I don't care what's happening. This is a non-negotiable. So some people are like, hey, can I go with you? Sure. Come on, you can go with me. And then there was a day like I was kind of dealing with allergies and stuff. And one of the guys like, hey, non-negotiable today? And I was like, well, he said, wait, you said non-negotiable. And I'm like, dang, you're right. Okay. So it's like people around me are willing to support that as well. So I think also too, like we need community in this journey. One of the things I said earlier is my friend really inspired me by saying, don't do like I did and don't wait. Part of me was like, bro, how come you didn't tell me this 2 years ago when I met you? Right? But why are you keeping this information to yourself? And it's like, how come we can't just talk about it? Like, how come we can't share this? So now it's like I openly share it. And one of the things I did on the podcast is I talk to my listeners, because I know my listeners like to eat. We like to cook, we like to eat, and we like to enjoy the finer things in life. But it's like we gotta be more careful. we got to be more, intentional on how we do that and what we're going to say. I had a guy text me today his peach cobbler recipe. He said, but I'm not going to look at my blood sugar after that, because he knows that I'm still, this is just a part of my life now. And I have people around me, and it just helps supports and reinforce, like I'm on a better journey. And now, of course, I'm losing weight, I'm gaining muscle, so my body's transforming too. And it's like, it's the daily work that I want to put in, as opposed to the medicines and how can I say how I was feeling. It felt really good for the doctor to kind of, she thought I was lying, and she thought I was taking insulin because after a couple of months, my sugar was so low. And I was like, no. She's like, are you starving yourself? And I have the best wife in the world. She gets up in the morning and makes me like a good, healthy breakfast. So I get a good start, and it's just a good rhythm, And so now I don't eat for all that pleasure and fun and gorging, because I do remember the times, like, man, when I would overstuff myself and how bad I would feel. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like, man, that would really be sliding down a slippery slope. And so I don't want to go there anymore.
Well, I have no fear of you sliding down that slippery slope. You have the non-negotiables.
Well, I'm scared.
Well, I'm just some of the things that stick out, the idea of creating non-negotiables. And I think Brian would agree, having the community around you that's supporting you, having someone that says, hey, you said you're going to go for a walk. Let's go for a walk, versus, hey, it's 2:00. Let's get ice cream. Right. You have those people there to support you, your wife making you the breakfast that want you to win. And boy, oh boy, this was one of our most enjoyable, fun episodes, Jace. Thanks so much for sharing your story. We're going to wrap things up. I've said it several times, but where can people find your podcast? What's it called? What's it about? Because it's life-changing for my family, because I can cook better now. So,
well, we are the Grill Coach Podcast. You can find us at thegrillcoach.com, and anywhere you get podcasts, it's The Grill Coach. And our goal is to learn, teach, and share anything in barbecue. And we don't feel like that there's a particular or a certain way that you have to do this, you have to make this. And our goal is to help give you some insights, so what you do around your family, you could do it better. And if you do that, it just makes the world a better place. And you're getting more wins, when you're the guy or the girl that, like, man, I could throw this out on the grill. If I said, come over for lunch, sure, we could do lunch. If I said, come over for barbecue, oh, yeah, now we're going to put on the fancy shirt, give me a hat. We're going to have a good time.
The apron's going on, and I'm getting over the grill. So, yeah, Jay, I'm now a loyal listener, and my family has benefited greatly. Brian, any parting words?
I poked my first burger this weekend, like with my finger, just to see if it was done. I'm not sure if that's something you talk about at all, but like, just like poking it. I grilled the best burgers I've ever done. And I'll have to definitely check it out to improve my barbecuing skills. I stick to the basics on the grill. I'll be honest on that. Jay, I want to reiterate what you said. I love that you're focusing on the gratitude for your journey. Getting to see everything as a gift, and I just want to acknowledge you for your sharing your story with us and our listeners. So thank you.
Yeah, you're going to inspire and help a lot of people.
Well, I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for you guys, because it was your guys' message that really helped me on my journey. Man, that was great.
All right. Well, I think we're out of words here, so we're going to wrap things up. Thank you, Jay, from the Grill Coach, for coming on. Thank you, Brian, for putting up with all the things I make fun of you about. And until next time, keep it simple and do what works.
If this episode gave you clarity or hope, share it with one friend who's been stuck in the diabetes trap. That's how this mission grows. One person, one family, one story at a time. And if you haven't yet, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and realize they're not stuck with meds forever. It takes less than a minute, and it means the world to us. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of this movement toward freedom. Thanks for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.